Welcome to Gas and Go Radio, the podcast for everything NASCAR. Let's hit the track.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. This is Dave here with Gas and Go Radio. We had another exciting weekend at Atlanta, so let's go ahead, get the notes pulled up here, and jump into what we had going on. For those that don't know, welcome back to the show. You are tuned in to Gas and Go Radio, where we break down the chaos, the drama, and all the speed of NASCAR every week. I'm your host, Uncle Dave. That's what I'm known as. And today we're diving into the wild one. Atlanta Motor Speedway once again delivered a weekend to remember, and even maybe one of the best races in quite some time in NASCAR with the Cup race on Sunday. But all three races were really good, in my opinion. So let's kind of jump into that race on Sunday. That race on Sunday was a wild one, wasn't it? If you saw it, you saw Carson Hocevar take many chances, zigzag, you name it. Kid was doing it. That's his way. He probably rubbed some feathers wrong, but really, who cares? I like seeing Carson out there, seeing Carson get after it. We saw Brad Keselowski back in the car recovering from his broken leg. We saw Tyler Reddick and the Bubba Wallace teammates, 23-11, back up front again, fighting for the win. Even saw Tyler Reddick do it without a front fender. That was pretty awesome to see. So let's kind of jump on in, see where we're at. Atlanta gave us exactly what we expected this weekend. It was a super speedway free for all. I enjoyed every second of that race, and I'm sure I'm not the only ones out there that did. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We had 3 wide blocks, got a lot of drivers in trouble, had a few big wrecks during the race. Kyle Busch got spit out early after a move to the top. He said that's just the way kids do it these days. I'm kind of paraphrasing what Kyle said, but that's just the way the kids do it these days. Had cars bouncing off each other's like pinballs, and a large crash that reset the field there at the end. Long story short here, we're going to cut right into it. Tyler Reddick is officially the early season storyline. He's 2-0 so far, 2-0. So he won Daytona and he won the Atlanta Motor Speedway race. Echo Park Speedway, I think, is the official name of it. I still call it Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm old school, sorry about that, but he has opened the season, becoming the first driver since 2009. I believe it was Matt Kenseth that did it back then to win the first 2 races of the season. Joey Logano had a strong day, though his race unraveled in traffic late. Atlanta requires more of a handling race car than Daytona, so what you would see there after a few laps, you would kind of see who had the best race cars and who really didn't, because you would start to see gaps in the lines. You know, you had a top line, a bottom line. Every once in a while, you'd see a middle line slide in there. You got to remember, Atlanta is a mile shorter. The turns aren't quite as banked, so things happen a lot faster. Had a lot of 2-car tandem drafting going on. If you got to run in Atlanta, you really had to take it. And sometimes drivers just didn't have anywhere to go with it. So we, saw some pileups there. But all in all, pretty good race. We saw Tyler Reddick squirt out there at the end. Bubba Wallace fell back to roughly 7th, 8th. I think he was up there with his teammate Reddick at the end on that last restart. Tyler Reddick got the win, second win, as I said, for 23-11 of the season. Michael Jordan was thrilled and wasn't sure his driver in the 45 car could get that done. So, before we go on to what happened this weekend, Atlanta doesn't care. Just remember that. The Atlanta Motor Speedway, Echo Park Speedway, doesn't care. It just chews up sheet metal. That's the way a friend of mine put it to me. That's the way I feel about it. Atlanta just chews up sheet metal. I think that's a good way to look at it. Let's kind of jump down to the Xfinity Series. We had a stacked field, had some big names in the series. Chastain, Ross Chastain, Watermelon Man, made his first start of the year in the Xfinity Series. And of course, when Watermelon Man's in there, we kind of know what to expect. We kind of know things are going to get a little crazy. I'm going to try to say this name correctly. Gio Ruggiero continued to impress with another strong run and a young name that remains in the garage. Atlanta gave him another chance to show what he can do in traffic, and he delivered with a solid performance and finish. We got a little look here at what the early championship might look like, but we're not going to quite jump into that yet. We're 2 races in, so anything can happen. Kind of saw some drivers out there that are searching for speed. Clements was searching for speed. I think there's a little bit more speed to have in the JRM cars. The RCR cars were fast. Austin Hill, almost said Austin Cedric. Austin Hill had a good chance there at the end to get a second victory and go 2-0 in the Xfinity Series, but not quite. We had some past winners in the mix, and if you notice the Xfinity drafting packs, maybe it's the way the car is, the way the arrow is in the Xfinity cars being a little different than the Cup cars. You saw the drafting lines felt like they were a little closer this week, so that was something to look forward to. We saw a great Xfinity race. The Bennett Transportation and Logistics, I think that was the name of it. 250. It was a 39 car field, I believe. I may have that wrong. I believe it was a 39 car field. I could be terribly wrong about that, but I think it was 39 cars. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got a truck series event. Kyle Busch made his 2026 truck debut, and we know when Kyle gets in the truck, we can expect some wild things to happen. Kyle Busch got the lead there at the end and cruised his way to victory, celebrated with his wife and his son Brexton, who was actually there at Atlanta this week. He missed his dad's last victory there. We had some great last late race lead changes. We had some great drafting packs, and we kept everybody on the edge of their seat with that one. Everybody pretty much drove clean in that. We didn't see a whole lot of tearing up of equipment, so that was good to see. Now, coming up this weekend, in my opinion, this is where the race season gets started. Now, I'm going to jump down and pull up the NASCAR schedule on NASCAR.com and just make sure that I've got the titles of these races exactly right. We've got all 3 series in action this weekend, though we've got the truck series in a different location. St. Petersburg Street Course, and I believe that is a first for NASCAR. I don't think NASCAR has run there before. We've got the only Bulls Green Flag 150. That is at 12 on Saturday. So again, that's the St. Petersburg Street Course. Might want to make sure you check that out. The upper series, the O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series, are both at Circuit of the Americas, COTA for short. We have the O'Reilly Series. Now, I may have just called it the Xfinity Series. We have the O'Reilly Series. Saturday, in the Focused Health 250, February 28th, last day of February. Remember, February is only 28 days. We've got that at 3 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. And the Duramax, D-U-R-E, Grand Prix at Circuit of America, COTA for short, for the Cup guys, Sunday, March 1st at 3:30 p.m. So a little bit later start for the Cup guys. As far as I know, the weather is supposed to be good. Let me just scroll down what NASCAR's got here, see if we got any headlines we need to talk about. I don't see anything on this Monday, but Monday is usually the quieter day of NASCAR. It's usually the day off for a lot of teams. So that's pretty much it. We've got Coda and St. Petersburg this weekend. So we're going road racing. We're kind of going to see who's got what this weekend. We're done drafting and done depending on other drivers to get us to the front. So Tyler Reddick has always been a strong road course racer. It would not surprise me to see him go 3-0, but I'm interested to see where drivers fall behind him. I think we can expect, of course, Shane Van Gisbergen to be good there. He is the road course ace without a doubt. Well, that's pretty much going to close it for this week. Again, we'll be back next Monday, Tuesday with the CODA results and what's moving on after CODA. Hope everybody has a good week. If you're going to CODA this weekend, I hope you have a good time. Thanks for tuning in to Gas and Go Radio. If you've enjoyed this, hit that follow button down below, share it with your friends, listen to it on your favorite podcast. We're out there on all the podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and others. Again, this NASCAR season has started off to be something a bit special. It feels a little bit different. Maybe it's because we had a lawsuit over the winter, but it feels a little bit different this time around. So, hope everybody has a good week. Hope everybody's getting ready for CODA. If you're up north where there's a lot of snow, I saw up north on the East Coast, there's going to be anywhere between 2 to 3 feet from what I saw in some locations. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're staying warm. If you're down south like me, you're just ready for some warm air. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Gas and Go Radio. We will see you next time. Bye bye.